Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the NBA slate on Draftkings and Yahoo for Saturday, June the 12th. Now, we just have one game today. We just got, a showdown slate for today. We got the Clippers and the Jazz playing game 3 of their series. So we're going to talk through this showdown slate. Haven't been covering showdown lately, but, I'm going to start covering showdown moving forward, especially because, we're getting to the point in the season where there's just going to be a lot of days where all we have is one game. Going to cover Showdown moving forward. We're going to talk through the Showdown slate like we normally would talk through any other slate, except, we'll just kind of go through the entire player pool, really talk about all the guys that I think are playable. Obviously, we're not going to talk about the guys that won't see the floor. We're just going to hit on the guys that, are actually going to get minutes. We'll kind of talk through who I like to play at captain, just kind of how I'm approaching this Showdown slate. So before we do get started with the breakdown, as always, guys, I would appreciate it if you would click that like button down below. Be sure to click that subscribe button as well, and also hit the notification bell, so that way you do get notified every time I upload. You also do get notified every time I live stream. Now, probably not going to go live for today. It's the weekend, plus it's a late game, so I doubt I'm going to go live today. But still want to get a video out for this slate. I do still plan on playing the Showdown slate, and I'm definitely going to be getting some action in over on Prize Picks. And for those of you that haven't seen it already, or if you haven't been tuning into the channel lately, we did recently announce a new partnership with Prize Picks. They're going to be partnering with my channel, sponsoring my videos moving forward, and I'm excited for this. I've been playing on Prize Picks a lot lately. I recently signed up a couple weeks ago, been having some early success. They reached out to me wanting to partner, and we got a partnership set up. I'm really excited to be partnered with them. I'm excited for the future with Prize Picks. I think this is going to be a DFS site that you definitely see their popularity is going to increase moving forward. Like they're partnering with a lot of other guys as well. It's a fun new way to play DFS. I mean, you bet on the over or the under. They give their projection, and you basically, it's you versus the house pretty much. You're not having to play against other people. You bet over or under. They do fantasy scores, so you can basically predict, over under the projected fantasy points they have for each player. They also do single stat, which is basically, their points projection, their rebound projection, their assist projection. You can bet the under or the over the under for all those as well. They have a ton of sports. I mean, they basically have like every sport you could imagine. They got like college sports. I mean, it's just a ton of fun. You guys definitely need to check out Prize Picks if you haven't yet. As you can see at the bottom of the screen, if you do use code NOAH when you sign up, that will give you a 100% match on your deposit up to $100. Prize Picks is pretty much giving away free money right now. If you deposit $100, they will match that, and they will give you $100 free to play with that you can use to enter contests, to make picks. I would say not really contests, but yeah, guys, definitely check out Prize Picks. We're going to talk about some of my favorite picks for this game. I'm just looking at the fantasy projections, kind of who I like, the over, the under for some of the guys that I like, for this game on Saturday night. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at this slate, and we'll just kind of start off at the top of the player pool, work our way down. So at the top, we got Kawhi Leonard at the top, 11,400 on DK. If you want to use Kawhi as a captain, it's always a little bit tough to pay up at captain just because, it's kind of hard to sometimes find value on these showdown slates, but there are some cheap guys I do like. So I think paying up at captain for Kawhi, Donovan Mitchell, Paul George, I mean, you can't go wrong with any of these guys. Like, I really have nothing negative to say about any of them. Kawhi, so far in the series, he's not been great. Only 38 and 37 DK points. We haven't really seen him be as aggressive as he was in that Dallas series. We haven't seen him play in as many minutes as he was in that Dallas series. But I think with him being down 0-2 now, like they're going to have to push Kawhi 40 to 42 minutes. I mean, some of these games, I actually think both of these first games in the Utah series, he was in foul trouble. He probably would have played more minutes had he not been in foul trouble. I think we do get probably 40 minutes from Kawhi today, maybe a few more than that. At 11,400, he's clearly a top play on a showdown slate. Like, I don't need to tell you that. Am I prioritizing Kawhi over Donovan Mitchell? Like, I think right now I do prefer Donovan Mitchell, especially if Mike Conley's out again. Now, this is going to be the big news we need to keep an eye on. Conley is once again questionable. He has not played so far in the series. I'm assuming Conley remains out. I don't think he's been practicing at all. So until we really get an update, I'm just going to assume that Conley stays out. So if Conley is out again, Mitchell definitely gets a boost without Conley. He's going to get more usage. He's going to have the ball in his hands more. We've seen him play really well through 2 games in this series. 61, 48 DraftKings points. He's been playing full minutes. He had that, he was coming back from his injury in the Memphis series. I said this recently. We saw he was limited at the beginning of that Memphis series, but there's no limit on Mitchell anymore. I mean, he's playing 38 to 40 minutes if this is a close game. He's going to take 25 to 30 shots. He should maybe get a few more assists, now that Conley's off the floor. So I think I do give the slight edge to Mitchell over Kawhi, but I really like both guys. I think those are the clear top 2 pay-up options on this slate if you can fit them. We're going to talk about some cheaper guys I like that should make it somewhat easy to get Kawhi and Mitchell together. Then you have Paul George at 10,400. I think Kawhi is probably I think Mitchell and Kawhi are like 1A, 1B for me, and then Paul George is probably a little bit below those guys. Not saying I don't like Paul George, but I would definitely put him behind Kawhi, put him behind Mitchell. He's not as productive as those guys on a point per minute basis. Now, he is still a very productive player when he's on the floor. He's also going to play a ton of minutes. He's seen his minutes be a little bit more, he's been pushed a little bit more than Kawhi has. He played 44 minutes last game. I think maybe some of that was due to Kawhi getting in foul trouble. But, yeah, if we're going to get like 42 to 44 minutes from Paul George, I mean, he can put up 50-plus DK points any night. But, so can Kawhi, so can Mitchell. I think I do give the edge to those guys. I think those guys, I think Kawhi and Mitchell both have 60-plus point upside, whereas Paul George, his ceiling may not be as high as those guys, but definitely still like Paul George on the slate. If you're playing a lot of lineups, which is something I recommend on Showdown, normally Showdown is not a format where I really like to play one lineup. I think playing multiple lineups in Showdown is kind of the way to go. I would be sprinkling in these top 3 guys. I think they're all 3 great plays. If you can maybe play them all together, you could do that. I just don't know if there's going to be enough value to get that. Then you have Rudy Gobert at 9,600. Rudy Gobert, I think, is a step down from Paul George. I definitely would put Paul George ahead of Gobert. Again, not saying Gobert is a bad play, but he's not as a productive player as Kawhi is, as Paul George is, as Donovan Mitchell is. He's a guy that just, mainly he's going to be around the basket. He's going to grab a ton of rebounds. He's going to get, putbacks, but he doesn't give you massive upside. Rarely do we see Gobert just go out there and break a slate. For him to go out there and break a slate, he's going to have to go for 20 and 20, get 3, 4, 5 blocks, which, he can do, but it's unlikely that you get those type of games from Rudy Gobert. You don't get those games too often. He also doesn't nearly play as many minutes. Like Mitchell, Kawhi, George, I expect to all play probably 40 minutes or more, whereas Gobert normally is topped out at 35, 36 minutes. So Gobert is still playable, but, not a top option for me. Then Conley, I don't think he's going to play, but if he does, he's going to be low owned. Conley will not be very owned. He's obviously people are going to play him, but he's not going to be massively owned. If you want to play Conley, first game back from injury, you could definitely do it. He's going to be low owned, like I said. I just don't feel great about him. At 9K, he feels priced about right, if not, a little bit too expensive. And then you have Clarkson. For me, I think Clarkson and Ingles, the 2 guys that really benefit without Conley, I think they're probably only going to be guys that I go to if Conley's out. If Conley returns and he's not limited or anything, then I'm probably going to be off Clarkson at his price tag. I'm probably going to be off of Ingles at his price tag as well. So that's just kind of a wait and see for me. But, assuming that Conley is out again, I think Clarkson at 8,200 looks like a very solid, mid-range option. He's going to play 28 to 30 minutes off the bench. We know Clarkson's going to go out there and just, take a ton of shots when he's on the floor. He's obviously a great scorer. He's a very efficient shooter. He's one of these guys that can get hot, and when he gets hot, he's just going to keep taking shots. So definitely like Clarkson. I would like him a lot more, though, if Conley sits. Same could be said for Joe Ingles. I expect Joe Ingles to start in place of Conley if Conley is out. Ingles will probably play 32 to 34 minutes. He's 6K. He's definitely a lot cheaper than Clarkson. I think given the savings, I actually do prefer Ingles over Clarkson today. I think both these guys, though, are really good options once again if Conley remains out. Then you have Reggie Jackson at 7,600. I think Reggie Jackson is someone that you could definitely look to today. Now, he was pretty bad in Game 1, but he did foul out. He was in major foul trouble in Game 1. He only played 17 minutes. He fouled out in 17 minutes. Last game, he got back to his normal minutes, played 36 minutes, was very productive, had a really good, I think it was his fourth quarter. He went nuts in the fourth quarter, had I can't remember how many points he scored in the fourth quarter, but Reggie Jackson did play really well last game. We know the minutes should be there, as long as it's a close game. I think Reggie Jackson does probably, in terms of the guards between him, Beverly, Rondo, I think Jackson's the guy that's going to get the most minutes between the 3. He's the one I feel the best about. I don't think he stands out as a top play today, but still Reggie Jackson in 30 to 35 minutes could put up a good score. I don't think he projects as good as some other guys. I'd rather play Clarkson if if Conley's out. I'd rather play Ingles for cheaper. These are 2 guys I do like on prize picks too. I do want to mention their prize pick projection right now. Right now, Joe Ingles has a 21 point projection on fantasy point projection on prize picks. Assuming that Conley is out, if you want to go ahead and bet the over on Ingles, I like that a lot with Conley out. I've been betting his over on prize picks, these last 2 games without Conley, and he's hit the over both times. So I definitely like that. You also have Jordan Clarkson, who's projected for 27. His projection feels pretty accurate. I think Ingles is probably a few points too low, or yeah, too low. Like Ingles, assuming that Conley's out, Ingles should probably be projected for like 24 fantasy points. So that's why I really like his over. I think Clarkson, should probably be projected for like 27, 29 fantasy points. I still would probably take the over there, but both these guys, I think if Conley's out, I like their overs on Prize Picks. I think you're going to see their projection rise as the day goes on. And once we get the news, if Conley does get ruled out, you'll probably see Clarkson's projection rise even more. So you might want to go ahead and bet those overs now. Those are two that I do like early on, assuming that Conley's out. Ingles, I'm going to just keep betting his over. It's just too low right now. Obviously, we need that Conley news, though. Like, if Conley plays and you bet the over on Ingles, then you're kind of in a sticky situation because, 21 projection for Ingles, if Conley is in, I wouldn't like that as much. So, yeah, we just got to wait and see on that Conley news. But obviously, these two guys, have been the biggest beneficiaries without Conley, in terms of increased minutes and increased production. And those would be two guys I would like a lot if Conley sits again. Bojan, he also benefits without Conley. He's going to play, a ton of minutes. He's going to play probably 38 to 40 minutes. He's normally not a guy that I really target in DFS. He's super scoring dependent. He doesn't have massive upside. You're going to need him to have just an incredibly, efficient shooting game, or for him to just get really hot from the floor. With Mitchell, dominating the usage, taking a ton of shots, like that just doesn't really leave Bojan a ton of opportunity for scoring. We've seen him kind of spark some random ceiling games during the regular season, but I think in the playoffs, especially where he's priced right now, he's just not a guy that I really like that much. I'd rather play some of these other guys we've already talked about, Ingles, Clarkson, Reggie Jackson. Like, give me those guys over Bojan. Royce O'Neal finally came back down to earth last game. He was playing really well for a stretch there, but he only had 16 DK points last game. But again, he still played a ton of minutes, and that's something we've seen consistently be there for Royce O'Neal is the minutes. 35, 36, 36, 41 minutes his last 4 games. I never feel great putting Royce O'Neal into my lineup, but we know he's going to play 35 to 40 minutes. He's a good defensive player. They use him defensively on Kawhi and on Paul George. So if we're getting 40 minutes from Royce O'Neal, he could luck into a 25, 30-point game. For 5,400, I'm fine with him. I don't feel great about him, but, as a last piece, if he fits my lineup, then, I'm fine playing Royce O'Neal. Marcus Morris, he's a guy that I do like for value. He's someone that I have been playing a lot recently in DFS. I've been betting his over on Prize Picks. His projection, I think, on Prize Picks is, again, another over that I like. He's got a 21-point projection right now. I'm just going to keep betting that over. I think he did hit it last game, I'm pretty sure. He did hit it last game. He just came up short in game 1 of this series, but we're getting consistent minutes from Marcus Morris. 33, 37 minutes the first 2 games in this series. Marcus Morris, he's not like an insanely productive player when he's on the floor, but he's productive enough to where he can easily hit value on the salary. He can easily go over his 21 fantasy point projection on Prize Picks. When he's playing 36, 38 minutes, it's hard for him to not fall into 25, 26 DK points, which, obviously that's going to be good enough to pay off his price and to go over his projection. So I do like Marcus Morris for value. I think he's someone I'm definitely looking to as a cheap option. I don't think I'd be using him in the captain spot just because I don't know if he really has enough upside. But for a cheap flex play, definitely like Marcus Morris for value. Now, Nicholas Batum, I'm a little bit hesitant to go to. He went back to the bench last game. He played 27 minutes. He did kind of benefit with Zubac getting in foul trouble. Zubac was basically in foul trouble the entire game. Like, I don't really know how many minutes Batum's going to play, especially if he comes off the bench again. I'm assuming they start Zubac again, if that's the case, if Zubac starts again and he's not in foul trouble, I don't know if we're going to get as many minutes from Batum as we did in the last game. He does have a low projection, though, on Prize Picks. His projection is only 15. I'm fine betting the over there. I don't feel great about it, but I think, over 15 on Batum looks okay. He's someone you could look to for value in DFS, but I don't think he really stands out. I probably would just rather play Zubac. Zubac I did like a lot last slate. Once we got the news he was starting, I pivoted to him in both my DK and Yahoo lineup. Obviously, it didn't go well, but he was in major foul trouble. He only played 14 minutes. He was in foul trouble the entire game. He picked up 2 quick fouls in the first quarter. He subbed in the second quarter, picked up a 3rd foul. I'm pretty sure he had he had 3 fouls in 5 minutes. So, yeah, Zubac obviously did not really get a ton of playing time last game, but that was due to foul trouble. Could he get in foul trouble again? He absolutely could. He's a guy that does foul a lot. Going up against Rudy Gobert, there's definitely going to be opportunity for Zubac to pick up fouls. But for 3,400, it's hard to find guys that can go for 25, 30 DK points that are this cheap, and Zubac has that kind of upside. I don't think he plays massive minutes or anything, but if he's not in foul trouble, I think we get probably 20, 25 minutes from Zubac, assuming he starts again. He's one of my favorite values today. If you want to play him at captain, I don't know if I'm going to do that, but I think he is a viable cheap captain option just because he does have upside. He's super cheap on Yahoo. I like him over there as well. Again, I wouldn't be playing him in the flex or I wouldn't be playing him in the megastar or the superstar or the star spot, but I think as a cheap flex option, Zubac looks good on Yahoo. And then on Prize Picks, I love the over on Zubac. Right now his projection is only 12.5. I mean, he almost hit that last game with foul trouble. I mean, he was in foul trouble the entire game, and he had 8 fantasy points. Like 12.5 fantasy points for Zubac is just way too low of a projection if he's starting. Like if Zubac starts and plays 20 minutes, which is easily in this range of outcomes, he's going to easily go over 12.5 fantasy points. You just got to hope he doesn't get in foul trouble. If he doesn't get in foul trouble, he's going to easily go over that. So these are kind of some of the early Prize Picks I do like. If you want to do like a 4-pick power play with these 4 projections, with these 4 overs, if you put like $20 on these 4 picks and they all hit, that would win or pay out $200. Like you could win 10x your money that easily. So Prize Picks, man, it's a fun new format. I'm probably, once I get off the stream or once I finish the video, I'm probably going to go bet these overs real quick before they rise. This is an early bet that I do like right now in Prize Picks. So yeah, go check it out. Use that code Noah when you do sign up. Link down below in the description, or just enter the promo code when you sign up. Get that 100% match on your deposit. If you do deposit $100, they will give you $100 free to play with. You could use that $100 free to again put a 4-pick power play with these 4 guys. Put that $100 down, maybe win $1,000 if you get all 4 picks correct. So go give Prize Picks a check, see what they have to offer. Going to be, partnering with them moving forward. Going to be producing a lot of Prize Pick content. Going to have them featured in the videos, pretty much every video moving forward. So you're going to see me talk about Prize Picks a lot. You definitely want to get signed up there now, especially while they're, running this cool promo, giving away this free money. So check out Prize Picks, link down below in the description. But yeah, guys, for the rest of the plays, like I don't see too much I like past Zubac. Like Rondo literally didn't even play last game. He was a DMP, so I really don't have any interest in Rondo. Luke Kennard, he played 29 minutes in game 1, but then last game he only played 10 minutes. I have no idea how many minutes Kennard plays. I don't have much interest in him. Terrence Mann has barely been playing much lately. He only got 1 minute last game. Like he's barely been in the rotation. If I was going to go to any of these cheap guys that coming off the bench, it probably would be Patrick Beverley. Now, I have no idea how many minutes Patrick Beverley plays. He only played 6 minutes in game 1. He was barely in the rotation during the Dallas series, especially late in the series. He was barely playing. But last game, he played 21 minutes. Now, I have no idea if Beverley plays 21 minutes again. Maybe Rondo gets some run. I don't know. Like, we just don't know what the Clippers are really going to do with their rotation. But right here it does say that Beverley is expected to see more work during the Western Conference semifinals matchup against the Jazz. I didn't see that report, but I guess they do want to play Beverley over Rondo, just given his defensive presence. So for 1,600, I mean, I wouldn't be using him in the captain just because I don't think he has enough upside. But as a cheap flex play, if you really want to try and jam in all the top studs, I'm fine playing Beverley. If he does get like 20 minutes again, I mean, he can easily give you a good enough score to be in the optimal lineup. So Zubac, Beverley, I think are like my 2 favorite cheap guys right now. What's Beverley's projection on Prize Picks? Yeah, it's 11, so that feels about right. I mean, Beverley's not a very productive player, so even in 20 minutes, like he could still put up 11 fantasy points. But like a Zubac, I like his over just because he's so productive when he's on the floor. But yeah, Beverley's projection feels about right. If you do want to bet that over, though, I'm fine with it, but I don't think that's something that really stands out to me. But yeah, guys, I think we pretty much covered like the entire pool. I mean, obviously none of these guys down here are playable just because they're not really going to step on the floor. But, if you're looking for cheap options to go with your studs at the top, I really like Kawhi. I really like Mitchell. I think those are my 2 favorite studs. To fit them in, I'm definitely looking to guys like Zubac for value if he starts again. Beverley, for 1,600, if he gets 20 minutes, is a viable cheap option too. And then some of the mid-range options like, Clarkson, Ingles, if Conley's out, I like both those guys in the mid-range. Yeah, guys, I think we pretty much covered it all. Talked about, kind of how I'm approaching this showdown slate, some of my favorite plays. And I think we talked about, some of my favorite Prize Picks as well, some early picks that I like. We mentioned all the overs on these guys that I have highlighted. Again, if you want to check out Prize Picks, I'll mention it one more time. Be sure to use code Noah when you do sign up. Get that 100% match on your deposit up to $100. And if you want to tell me you want to use these 4 picks and do your own little power play, hopefully it hits, because I have a feeling, I'm going to probably go put this power play in myself because I do like the over on all these guys. But yeah, I appreciate you watching, guys. I hope you did enjoy the video. Obviously, we just got a little showdown slate for today, but I'm pretty sure Sunday we have 2 games again on Sunday, so we'll be back with a 2-gamer on Sunday. I don't think I'm going to be streaming, today or Sunday, but I'll definitely be back, Monday with a live stream. Continuing to upload daily though. That's even though some days I don't stream, I do want to try and upload, every single day if I can. But yeah, guys, I appreciate you watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. As always, if you did enjoy, click that like button, click that subscribe button as well, and also hit the notification bell so that way you do get notified every time I upload, and you also do get notified every time I live stream. But I think that's it, guys. Appreciate you watching. Hope you did enjoy the video. Best of luck on this showdown slate. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Good luck, guys. Peace.